Someone pulls out a camera at a dinner party. The lighting is low and the conversation is flowing perfectly. You finally feel completely safe and relaxed. Then a friend reaches across the table. They point a glowing glass rectangle right at your face and say, "Let us take a picture." In a fraction of a second, the warm room vanishes. Your heart rate spikes immediately. The muscles in your neck and shoulders completely lock up. Your breathing becomes very shallow. You put a forced smile on your face. You already know it will not look like you because it never does. You quickly offer to take the picture instead. You joke that you are just not photogenic today. You duck slightly out of the frame. You do absolutely anything to escape the lens. To everyone else, it is just a harmless photo. But your nervous system treats that tiny glass circle like a loaded weapon. You are not just being vain. You are not just feeling insecure. You are experiencing a profound biological survival response. Today we will uncover exactly what your body is actively protecting. We will explore the psychology of the stolen self. We will learn why the camera terrifies you. Look around that dinner party. Everyone else is leaning in and laughing. They are fixing their hair and having a wonderful time. They do not feel the panic that you feel. They think you are just being modest. They tell you to just smile. They say it is only a picture. That advice is completely useless. They are speaking to your logical brain. But your logical brain is currently offline. Your amygdala has completely hijacked your nervous system. The amygdala is your primary threat detection center. It acts like an oversensitive smoke detector. Your ancient brain cannot tell the difference between a social moment and a predator. To your brain, an alarm is simply an alarm. So your body floods with stress hormones. You cannot fight your friends. You cannot run away from the table. Both of those options are socially unacceptable. So your body chooses the third survival response. You freeze. Your muscles become incredibly rigid. You brace for the flash just like a physical blow. You are experiencing a social jump scare. The tension is incredibly exhausting. You hold your breath and wait for the shutter to click. Your heart might be racing so fast you can hear it in your ears. Your palms might get sweaty while you try to act completely normal. The disconnect between your internal panic and the cheerful room is incredibly jarring. Society treats this genuine distress as a simple quirk. People laugh and tell you to just get over it. But you cannot simply get over a hardwired biological imperative. People think camera shyness is a skill issue. They think you just need better posture or better lighting. But camera terror is actually a chemical issue. Your body is flooded with adrenaline. You cannot send normal signals for fluid speech or relaxed expressions. You are quite literally fighting for your social survival. Understanding this biological reaction changes everything. It removes the heavy shame from your reaction. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. But biology is only the first piece of the puzzle. There are massive cognitive illusions at play. These illusions trick you into hating every photo of yourself. We need to talk about why you hate the pictures you do take. You probably look in the bathroom mirror and think you look fine. Then you see a photo and wonder who that stranger is. Both the mirror and the camera are lying to you. Let us start with the mirror. You look in the mirror every single day. But the mirror shows you a reversed image of your face. Your left side is on the right. Your right side is on the left. Since you see this flipped version constantly, your brain becomes addicted to it. This is a psychological principle called the mirror exposure effect. We prefer things that are very familiar to us. When a camera takes your picture, it shows your true orientation. Your asymmetrical features are suddenly flipped. Your brain detects this difference immediately. It interprets this unfamiliarity as absolute ugliness. You are not ugly. You are simply looking at an unflipped face. You are experiencing visual unfamiliarity. Everyone else sees this true version of you every day. They think you look great. Your brain is just rejecting the lack of a mirror reflection. Now let us look at the camera itself. Your smartphone is not capturing reality. It is actively rebuilding your face. Modern phone cameras use wide-angle lenses. If the phone is too close, it distorts your features. Your nose looks bigger and your jawline looks weaker. This barrel distortion flattens your three-dimensional face onto a two-dimensional plane. You lose vital depth cues and shadow data. The camera also applies artificial intelligence in milliseconds. It sharpens pores and alters your skin tone. It adds contrast and completely rewrites your shadows. You are looking at a reconstructed digital illusion. You also suffer from something called the spotlight effect. You walk through life feeling like everyone is constantly watching you. You think people notice every mistake and every bad photo. Psychologist Thomas Gilovich tested this specific fear. He had college students wear highly embarrassing shirts into a crowded room. The students guessed that half the room would notice the shirt. In reality, less than a quarter of the people even looked. Your brain constantly doubles the amount of attention you think you receive. You live inside your own experience all day long. You wrongly assume others are monitoring you just as closely. The truth is much more comforting. People are too busy managing their own imaginary spotlights. They are not judging your awkward pose. They are worrying about their own. You are the main character in your life. But you are just a background character to everyone else. The spotlight is entirely in your head. The audience you fear is largely absent. This realization should bring you immense relief. The judgment you fear is mathematically distorted. You assume that your internal anxiety is visible to everyone in the room. This is called the illusion of transparency. You think your racing heart and forced smile are obvious to the crowd, but the people around you cannot see your internal struggle. They are completely unaware of your discomfort. They just see a person sitting at a table. Your inner world is far more opaque than you realize. Your flaws are not being broadcast to the room. But knowing the science is not enough to stop the panic. We must uncover the psychological mask you wear. Why do we care so much about being judged in the first place? Why does the possibility of an ugly photo feel like emotional ruin? To answer this, we must look at the mask you wear. Carl Jung called this the persona. The persona is your carefully constructed social identity. You built it to navigate the world safely. It is your internal public relations department. This department manages everything you say and do. It curates your tone of voice and your posture. It ensures you always appear competent and agreeable. The persona keeps you perfectly safe from criticism. We act like the director of a grand museum that is still unfinished. We keep the doors locked until every single exhibit is perfect. We do not want anyone to see the messy paint or the incomplete statues. A candid photograph breaks through the window and captures that unfinished hallway. It exposes the rough draft of our lives to the public. We are terrified of handing an unedited draft to an audience that expects perfection. We worry that they will judge the margins and the crossed-out words. A candid photo does not ask for approval. It freezes a fraction of a second of raw data. It captures the unedited and uncurated reality of you. When you see that raw image, it clashes with your perfect mask. This clash creates violent cognitive dissonance. Your brain screams that the photo cannot be you. If that messy image is you, then your protective mask is a lie. If your mask is a lie, then you are totally unsafe. You are not dodging a camera. You are dodging a complete loss of narrative control. This deep need for control usually comes from childhood. Many of us grew up in environments where being visible was very dangerous. Perhaps you lived in a home with conditional love. Approval was a currency given only when you performed perfectly. If you were messy or emotional, the warmth was withdrawn. Perhaps you had a highly critical parent. Every small mistake was pointed out and heavily evaluated. A spilled glass of milk was treated as a massive character flaw. In those environments, your nervous system learned a brutal rule. The rule was that visible imperfection leads to painful rejection. In our evolutionary past, social rejection meant isolation and death. So you learned to hide your flaws deep inside. You built the persona to ensure you were never exiled. Today, when that camera points at you, it feels like the critical gaze of the past. The camera is just a proxy for the judgment you anticipate. It represents every time you were told you were too loud or too quiet. Every time you were told your natural self was unacceptable. The lens becomes a weapon because it forces you to face the vulnerability you worked so hard to bury. You believe that if people see the unpolished version of you, they will leave. You believe your value is entirely tied to a flawless presentation. Your nervous system literally travels back in time. You feel like a scared child waiting for a lecture. The camera is searching for the exact flaws you try to hide. Social media makes this survival reflex infinitely worse. The imaginary audience of your youth is now a verifiable reality. You have follower counts and public comment sections. An unflattering photo is no longer hidden in a dusty album. It can be broadcast globally in seconds. The digital permanence means the threat of exposure never expires. You are living in a digital panopticon. You never know when you are being recorded. This self-presentational pressure is absolutely exhausting. Your public relations department has to work overtime. You delete every picture where you do not look perfectly composed. You exert absolute control over your identity. You successfully protect yourself from cognitive dissonance. The survival mechanism works perfectly. But the cost of this perfection is staggering. Think about the long-term impact of this camera avoidance. You spend years dodging cameras and stepping out of frames. You protect your curated image from any potential judgment. But slowly and quietly you erase yourself from your own life. This is the quiet tragedy of the stolen self. The true authentic you is completely missing from the historical record. You were fully present for the memories, but you leave absolutely no visual evidence behind. Imagine sitting in your living room 20 years from now. You are scrolling through digital folders and flipping through physical albums. You want to revisit the very best moments of your entire life. You see the beautiful trips and the birthday parties. You see the faces of everyone you love. Then a cold realization washes over you. You are not in any of the pictures. There is no proof you were at the dinner table. There is no proof you climbed the mountain. You stayed behind the lens to feel safe. You chose to be a ghost haunting your own milestones. The ultimate irony is devastating. You hid your flaws to stay connected to the tribe. But that exact survival mechanism created profound isolation. Your loved ones do not want a perfect mannequin. They want the messy and breathing version of you. They want the photos where your hair is wild. They want the pictures where you are laughing too hard. Those unguarded moments are the only true proof of an authentic life. Healing from camera terror does not mean taking endless selfies. Taking perfect selfies is just more identity control. True healing begins with radical self-compassion. You must realize that your worth was never tied to a flawless image. The next time the camera comes out, you can use somatic grounding. Take one slow breath into your diaphragm. Intentionally drop your shoulders to release the physical armor. Tell yourself silently that you are safe in this moment. Release the desperate need to pose perfectly. Resign as the head of public relations for your life. Allow yourself to simply exist in the frame. You do not have to look perfect. You just have to leave evidence that you were actually there. Staying in the frame is an act of deep vulnerability. It is a bold declaration that you are worthy of being remembered exactly as you are. You truly deserve to be part of the memories. Stay in the room. Stay in the frame. Let yourself be seen. Every time you choose to remain in the picture, you are breaking an ancient cycle of fear. You are teaching your nervous system that you can be flawed and still be entirely safe. You are reclaiming your stolen self.